Before we dig into this episode, I quickly want to remind you about our first open call of 2022. Yes, after a wonderful year of creating so many opportunities for our community, we are back with a bang in 2022 with our first international open call. The theme for this open call is treasured moments, and we are so excited to be collaborating with Photo Trouvee magazine and the founders of Photo Trouvee magazine, Juliana and Twiggy, for this open call. The open call ends on 7th of February 2022, and you can find all the details to submit, the link to submit in the description box below, or you can go to www.arts2heartsproject.com/submit. In this open call, the selected artists will be, of course, be a part of our virtual online exhibit, a video that we always do on our featured artists. The Photo Trouvee magazine will also be covering a few artists in the issue 7 of the print and the digital media both. So that's really exciting. And of course, we will be covering so many other places like a blog, Instagram, website, artist spotlights, and so much more. This open call is open for international women artists working in painting, mixed media, collage, drawing, and other medias. We are so excited to see this exhibition come to life. It's going to be first of 2022, so definitely it's going to be really special. And if you're looking, then this is it. Go to www.arts2heartsproject.com/submit, and we are so excited. I can't wait to see your submissions. Let's get back into the episode now. Mwah.
I would just say that fear of like it not working out is probably the most overwhelming. Just focusing on the good things that you're doing, persevering, I guess, and also just maybe not having too many expectations. When you set expectations that are high, if you fail for some reason, it's going to feel like you're falling from a lot higher than if you're just like, all right, let's see what happens, and that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of been our go-to, like, let's just try this and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, then it's just not meant to be. And if it works out, great. That feels great.
Welcome to the Arts to Hearts podcast, a show for artists, creators, creative entrepreneurs to have heartfelt conversations about living a creative life and a career. As you go into this show, hear your favorite creators talk about money, mindset, business, creativity, and everything else that goes behind into making a life that we all adore as an artist. Hear the messy and the wonderful side of being a creative. I am your host, Charika Arora, an artist, creator, and founder of Arts to Hearts Project. Thank you for joining me here. Let's jump right in. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Arts to Hearts podcast season 2. With the season 2, I have been thinking about how I want to take the podcast to a next level. What is that I really want to focus? And I'd been thinking about this for a very long time. When I realized that I wanted to expand the horizon of the podcast, which was not only bringing artists from around the world, but also creative entrepreneurs, women creative entrepreneurs from around the world. To start that, for the second episode, I have someone really special. You've heard them before on the podcast in season 1, respectively, and I take immense pleasure to introduce them to you. Welcome to the podcast, the team of Photo Trouvee, Twiggy and Juliana.
Hi, Charu.
Hi, Shadow. Thank you so much for inviting us. It's such an honor to be here on Arts to Hearts Project, the podcast again. We're so excited.
Thank you so much. Hi, Twiggy. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Charu. Thanks so much for having us. We're so excited to talk to you today.
I am more than happy to have you back again. That is even more exciting. And you know what's even exciting is that this time I don't have you as just as artists, but as entrepreneurs, creative entrepreneurs. And both of you have been on the podcast and spoken about your expertise, your journey, respectively. Today, I want you have two of you together, and we are going to talk about your journeys together of starting Photo Trouvee, what's have happened, and everything that's gone behind the scene. What do you say?
Okay, sounds awesome. Okay, so maybe before we start talking about Photo Trouvee, we can talk a little bit about how we met and how our
Oh, yeah.
friendship led to.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely. We have to go there, but because a lot of we will have a few more new listeners, and I don't want them to not take the chance to know each of you first. Let's have a little introduction about the two of
oh,
you, who
okay.
you are, where you're based, and then we'll go about how you met, and then we'll go further. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Okay. Do you want to start,
Perfect.
Twiggy?
Yeah, I'll go first. So my name is Twiggy Boyer. I am a mixed media artist, mostly focusing on mixed media collages. My work explores themes of nostalgia, memory, and connections. I was born in Paris, France, and then moved to the US around high school age. And I'm currently living in Florida right now, in South Florida. For school, I went to the Maryland Institute College of Art, and I received a BFA in painting and curatorial studies. And I was a elementary school art teacher for about 6 years before I started
Wow,
being a full-time mom and artist.
what a combination. Okay, thank you so much, Twiggy. Juliana, do you want to go next?
Of course. So, my name is Juliana Naofil. I'm a mixed media artist from São Paulo, Brazil. I'm currently living on this coast of Brazil, and I received a BFA in visual arts at São Paulo State University. São Paulo is the largest city in South America, so I grew up with a lot of art around me. So that was really nice. I have an MA in art therapy, and I'm currently doing a PhD in art therapy too. My
Wow,
practice, yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it's a lot going on, but I'm managing it all.
Yes,
Art
yes, yes.
therapy has been a huge passion in my life since my practice is all about healing through art. My mixed media practice is mostly by combining embroidery and found photographs,
Yeah.
and uh, what I love about doing that is showing people that even though we had, painful experiences in our past, we can always move on with grace and being gentle with ourselves. So, spreading messages of love, of hope, and, just treasuring precious moments. It's all about what I do.
Oh my goodness. There's so much that's going on with you too. Okay. Let's also talk a little bit about Photo Trouvé, and then we'll go into your journey. Can you talk about what Photo Trouvé is and what your roles are, what you do?
Yeah, so Photo Trouvee magazine is an art publication. We actually had our first printed issue, but it used to be just digital. It highlights
Okay.
artists who work with or are inspired by found photographs. And we also do interviews with collectors of vintage ephemera.
With artists as well.
Yeah, we do artist interviews as well. And we have a Instagram platform where we share found photo works each day. And so we really wanted to build this community where people could come together who share this passion for found photos just like we do.
Lovely, lovely. Do you want to add something, Juliana, to what Photo Trouvé is for
uh,
you?
yeah, for me is a lovely community where we can share our passion for nostalgia, treasuring moments, and not only we have, of course, the publications, but we're also expanding. Last year, we hosted two exhibitions as well, and we have a book coming up soon. So we hope to continue creating opportunities for artists. And when we started it back in 2020, I had no idea where we would be right now. So it's amazing to see how much the platform is growing, and how precious it is having a place to connect with other creatives.
It's been a wonderful experience seeing you grow Photo Trouvee. Just in the past year, you've had tremendous success on social media. And I can, you have a very niche community, and it's very, very amazing to see how you've just grown it in an year. And when you're also talking about opportunities, I'm very excited to share that Photo Trouvé and Arts to Hearts are collaborating, and we are also doing an open call together. And if you want to know more about it, you can hear the promo that we've published an episode before this. Um, so let's talk about how did Photo Trouvé actually come to life? Firstly, let's go about the two of you. How did you two met? How long have you known each other actually?
uh,
Since
like
two,
being friends, maybe 2.5 years.
yeah.
This year
How
will
did you meet?
Yeah, we met on Instagram. We've been following each other for a while, and then we actually ended up doing a mastermind program together with Michelle
Oh, wow.
Gomez. And
Really?
then,
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
yes, and during the program, we were part of the same accountability group, and then we became friends, and we've been talking every day since then. That's pretty much it.
Wow.
So we became great friends, and late 2019 we've met in person, and it was so special. And we had our first event together. We hosted a pop-up event to share our practices. And do you want to talk about Memories of Love
Yeah.
a bit, Twiggy?
Was that like an offline event? Have you guys met in real life?
Yeah. We met once
Yes.
in late
Wow.
2019. We
Oh
Juliana came to
goodness.
Miami, so we met there. And we actually had a
Wonderful.
physical event together. So it was a pop-up show, and it was called Memories of Love. And we just together had a little pop-up with our artworks and, shared it with everyone.
Yes, and
Wow.
that was that was the first time we worked together, and it was just so easy and so great to work with Twiggy, and I just wanted to work more with her. And then
At,
early
the, at that
2020.
point, at that point, were two of you doing anything like, were you only focusing on your art practice, or were you doing something on the side, or like, any other project like Photo Trouvé?
No, I was still
uh,
I was still teaching full time. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
yes,
And
and same here. I was still teaching full time,
yeah.
so
You were also teaching both of you were teaching full time while you met.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, then what happened?
Um, so I think I had been wanting to create a publication with artists who use found photos, just because I felt
Okay.
like there was sort of like a lack in the art world for that specific medium. It is very niche,
Yeah.
but I was having a
Yeah.
hard time sort of finding where my work fit in, I guess, into traditional,
Yeah.
like mediums that are painting, drawing, collage. And I just really wanted to create a space where I could collaborate and meet and bring together artists who use found photos. And I guess I just thought Juliana would be the perfect person to do it with. So I sort of pitched the idea to her. And She said she was going to think about it, and then she agreed. And I'm so glad that she did, because I could not, I don't think that I would have been brave enough to do it on my own.
Oh,
And at
wow.
this point, I just couldn't imagine not doing it with her. It just makes so much sense. We both were using found photos.
Yes.
And
Yes, yes, yes.
I think at the time she was maybe one of a very few people who I knew used found photos in their works. I wasn't really familiar
Yeah.
with a lot of artists, um, other artists who used found photos. So that really, now I'm just blown away. Each day I find new people with the magazine and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is, in fact, a question because both of you have very similar um, choices. I mean, choices in the sense, let's say, um, the common element being the photographs and, what you're trying to do with that and how different your work even after that it looks. But it's such, and your community is also based around that common interest. And it's such a fortune to find someone who has very similar interest and shares the same passion to create, you know you really need that drive and passion to create a community. We all
Hmm.
know that, it's not like you like, something else. You really have to have that kind of inclination to find those people and, to bring them together. So that's been, and whenever I see you two, it feels like such a perfect fit, especially when you work, both of them coming together, and then the photo Trouvé.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
thank you.
Okay, so you spoke to Juliana about that. What happened next?
Well, like I said, yeah, she took a little time to think about it, and then she agreed. So,
Yes.
Juliana, what was happening with you at that time when Twiggy spoke to you about it?
Okay, so I just had recently quit my job as a full-time art teacher because
Okay.
my plan in 2020 before the pandemic happened was to move to New York, so
Oh,
to study
wow.
there. Uh, yes,
I'm
but
learning
in
so
the
many
end,
new
with
things about you guys today.
yes, but in the end, without that happen, I ended up staying here in Brazil for a while more. So I had a lot on my plate because I just had quit my full time job, and then I was learning to be an artpreneur, and then I was preparing myself to move out of my country, and
Mhm.
I was feeling definitely overwhelmed. But at the same time, I really wanted to do that with Twiggy, so I thought that we should give it a try. Twiggy from the very beginning wanted to do it as a printed magazine, but for me that would be a lot. And when the pandemic hit, we also didn't know what was going
Mhm.
to happen and preferred to start it uh, as a digital magazine and then grow from there, but we really wanted to do that. So I think it was February that we actually started talking about more about the magazine and having meetings and trying to organize how it would work and if we would host open calls or if in the beginning we would only work with invited artists and collectors. So we divided the works based on our skills. Like for some things, I'm really organized and I really like to do computer work. For others, Twiggy is way better than I am. So we chose our strengths in the sense of combining our forces to create the magazine. Our first magazine came out June 2020, and we've done six so far, and
Wow.
other projects as well.
Wow. That is so exciting. Okay. So when you started Photo Trouvé, what let's also I have a very interesting question. I'm only saying that. I know what it feels to start something. I've never started something like with someone, so that's something I have to experience. But we all know, like, there's so many fears that come up when you're challenging yourself. It's like, you're expanding your horizon, you're opening that box. And with that, it also creates more space. And with that space, a lot of fears also come in. What
Mhm.
were your biggest fears when you were starting Photo Trouvee? Because a lot of people will, we always talk about the bright side, and we all know there is a bright side. We will also get into that. But I really want to talk about this because I know that, taking that leap of faith, and how do you get over those fears, and what those fears, and also feeling like, I had them, you had them, and we still went ahead. So anyone who's listening, I think it'll be a great, great support.
Okay, so I think what made it a bit easier was knowing that I had probably my best friend on this project with me. So having a great friend as a business partner for me worked perfectly because I know that I could always be vulnerable and I could always speak what was going on with me. And it's really rare to find someone that you can open up and tell,
That's true.
okay, this is triggering me in a way, or I'm scared to do that. Maybe can we
Yeah.
do something else um, to meet halfway? So having someone that is so special and so understanding has been amazing. And I don't think if we had another dynamic, if it could work, because we are in different countries.
Yeah.
We have different uh, cultural backgrounds as well, and there are
Yeah.
so many things that could have gone less. But just having someone you trust a lot and that that will listen to you and compromise as well, the same way that you do with some things, is just really important, I guess.
But what was your fear? You've shared
Yeah.
what was pro, but what was hard? What was that? What, that voice that says, "Oh, don't do this." This would happen. What were your fears when you thought you wanted to start? Because
Yeah.
that it's this edge
Hmm.
moment that feels like, how do you take that next step?
Yeah, for me, as I mentioned, I guess just doing it print from the very beginning was really scary. Because, I've never read a magazine before. I didn't know what was going to be. So we were still finding our people. Like, I wouldn't have ever imagined that we would have like 11K people in our community right now, because
Yeah.
when we started growing it was like 100 people, and then
Yeah.
it started multiplying. But when we took that leap of faith, as Twiggy mentioned, we didn't know that many artists that were using bomb photos. So for me it was just a lot to, I don't know, start from a place that we would have to also commit a lot financially, uh,
Yeah.
like to get it printed and everything like that. So I guess that
That was a
was
smart move,
what
I would
scared
agree.
me the most.
What about you, Twiggy? What were your fears?
Yeah, so I think just the ultimate fear is failing, right? That it's not going to
Yes,
work out.
absolutely.
Um, when you're first starting out. So if anyone's listening and they're thinking of starting their own platform and you have, 50 followers and you're like, oh, wow, is this
Yes.
going to ever go anywhere? Um, I would just say that that fear of like it not working out is probably the most overwhelming. And as well, the financial aspect of things. Um, we're a little bit in a different place now, but when we first started, that was a big fear of ours that we would have to put forward possibly some money. And also, we
Yeah.
came into this and neither of us had ever done something like this. We'd never done a
Anything
magazine.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've just been learning as we go. And so I think if I had to give anyone advice, is just, give yourself grace and understand that you're going to learn as you go. There are going to be um, some obstacles. Um, there is going to be some pushback from some people, which can be really destructive and it can feel
Yeah.
really bad. Even if it's just one person,
Yes.
we haven't had that much negative feedback. But we've had, I think, two total, and those still hurt. So just kind of
Yeah, I
making a conscious effort to focus on all the good things that people are saying. You know, uh, all the people that were able to discover new artists through our platforms.
yeah.
Um, sharing their work with the world essentially, and I think that that's a great thing. So just focusing on the good things that you're doing, persevering, I guess, and also just
Hmm.
maybe not having too many expectations, just kind of starting.
Loving all these advices.
Yeah, because I think when you set expectations that are high, if you fail for
Yeah.
some reason, it's gonna feel like you're falling from a lot higher than if you're just like, all right, let's see what
Yeah.
happens. And that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of been our go-to, like, let's just try this and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, then it's just not meant to be. And if it works out, great. That feels great. So yeah.
Lovely. Lovely. Wow. Okay. This is your fears of starting out. This question is particularly for me, I would say. When you partner with someone, I think it also brings a lot of fear because especially I think both ways. When you don't know someone, you're afraid that you don't even know how that person is going to turn up. Can you trust that person, or like all of those things. But when you also know someone closely, and you're great friends, the fear is, what if, will this harm our moment? Like, did you have those fears, and
Hmm.
how did you deal with that?
It takes uh, quite a lot to work with someone, and I wouldn't say that it's
Yeah.
always easy. I don't find it hard
Yeah.
because I think that somehow Juliana and I just sort of clicked in that way. But that's not to say that
Yeah.
Hmm.
we don't sometimes disagree on something. And we are very different. We're completely different people. You know,
Yes, I can
we're
first
we
say
have
that for sure.
we're different places in our lives. Juliana's younger than me. Uh, we just, like she was saying, we grew up in different cultures. We live in different countries. We speak different languages. So
Yes.
we're speaking English, but that's not even
Yes.
our first native language
Native
from
language.
each. So
Yes.
Yes.
there are a lot of challenges that can arise. But I think finding someone who is open to hearing, how you feel, what you're feeling, and it's gonna be sort of like a judgment-free kind of place. That's the person you want to work with,
Yeah.
because we life has so many ups and downs. So in the 2 years that we've worked together, or 2.5 years, we've both gone through very high highs and very low lows. And I think,
Lobos, yes.
yeah, and so I think that just having someone who's able to understand that and just be there for you and give you the space you need if you need it, um, that's probably the person you want to choose.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely.
Uh, I,
Swiggy is really high on great advices
Oh,
today.
thanks.
oh, yeah. Twig is the best for advices.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. What
Yeah.
was it for you, Juliana?
Oh, I'm not sure if I have much more to add. I think Twiggy said it all.
Michelle.
But
Okay.
I think it's, being able to communicate is key. And of
Yeah.
course, sometimes you think that something is working, it's going to work out with someone and it doesn't, and that's okay too. But I always think that we should take the leap on faith. So
Yeah.
that's it. Why don't we give it a try? And if it
Yeah.
doesn't work out, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's just part of the process.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. So, you know, at least I can speak for, I don't know, this is a little tricky question, but let's try this. When we all start with a leap of faith, and we trust in the universe, and, we trust in our vision and where we go. But in that journey, there are, like, moments where you feel like, okay, this is happening, this is working out, I can feel it, your conviction grows together, you see that, this is going to happen, or whatever your ultimate vision is, you're going there, and then you're enjoying, and all good things. Can you respectively share your first special moment in your journey of Photo Trouvee that made you feel like, okay, yeah, this is going to work out, this will work out?
You can go
Good, Twiggy, you want to share,
Oh,
or should
I'll
I?
let Juliana start.
okay, I guess for me it was on the very first issue, and then when we invited the artists, telling, okay, we want to create this publication featuring found photo artists, and then uh, having most of the invited artists to say yes for me was okay. So I guess
Yeah.
people are still interested and are willing to join us on this journey and on this community. So I think for me, it was having the first yeses when we invited some artists to be featured on issue one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What about you, Twiggy?
Yeah, I'd say that mine was the same. I think issue one was a really big moment. Um, and I guess I could go with just receiving our first print copy. Um, I
Oh,
think
Oh,
wow.
that was a
yes.
That's been now. It's such a lovely issue.
yeah, so that was a big moment. And just seeing that, it felt really scary because we had never done it. So anytime you do something that you've never done,
Yeah.
it's really scary, I think.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Yes.
I tend to be like a worrier, so I worry about anything and everything that's gonna go wrong.
I'm a part of the same club.
Yeah, so just receiving it and like feeling that validation that, wow, we were able to do it, and we learned ourselves, and we worked really hard, and it came out beautiful. And then,
Yes.
we started with 50 copies just to see how it was going to go. So
Wow.
always starting a little bit, without too many expectations. And we sold
Yeah.
out. And so I think that was a very validating
Yes. In
moment.
less than a month.
Yeah.
So,
So it was, yeah,
Wow.
that was so special. And, if anyone was in the magazine or in the community listening, just thank you so much, because that really validates our work and what
Wow.
we do. And it shows us that our mission is important and that there is a need for it.
Lovely. I love this. Okay. What has been the hardest thing for you in this journey? What is the hardest thing about running a creative platform, a business, especially as an artist? What are your personal struggles?
Well, I think,
okay. So,
oh, go ahead. Do
yeah.
you want to go first?
Go ahead. No,
Okay. I think
you can.
um, the most challenging thing is sometimes working with people. um, just
Yes, for
I
sure.
I get I don't know. I was very surprised to see that, there's some people who are very forthright and like just kind of, like ask a lot of you sometimes. And maybe they just don't realize that, we're dealing with kind of hundreds of people. And so I think that that's sometimes a challenging thing, where people are emailing a lot, or checking in. Or even, if we write something down, like not really respecting that boundary that we write down, like, oh, I don't know. For example, we're going to, email you at this time, so please don't email us before that. And so, I find that sometimes some people kind of forget and just go ahead and do that. And I feel like that's kind of a difficult part because it feels like your boundaries are being crossed. And, as much as I love getting emails and communicating and everything, sometimes it can be a lot, especially if we're working with a lot of different artists. So it's not, I think people just forget that it's not just them, it's also a lot of other
Yeah.
people. And so I would say that's the biggest challenge that comes up for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. What about you, Juliana?
Yeah, this what Twiggy said, it's quite challenging, but for me it has been also an amazing opportunity to stick to my boundaries, because it's something that I struggle for such a long time. So having this platform also helped me grow in that way, and to be more sure and to understand, okay, it's fine that I stick to this boundary, because if we're not feeling fine with what we're doing something wrong. So having these
Yeah, sure.
boundaries are essential. And sometimes for me social media can be a lot, so it takes a lot of commitment as well to grow a
Yes,
platform
absolutely.
and to be there every day. But being into it also helps, because each of us has some days to post, so we help each other out. But sometimes you're just not in the mood, but you're okay, I have to do this, so let's do
Yes.
that, and that's fine too.
yeah.
Okay. That's I think I agree and I relate to like both of these things. How has running Photo Trouvé impacted your practice? I know Arts to Hearts, like in the past 1.5 years, it's just changed everything that I do drastically. I really want to hear how has that impacted your own practices?
Go ahead, Juliana.
Okay. I guess it was really interesting to see so many different approaches on people, using found photos. And I had not a single idea of how many people were embroidering photos out there, because, I started back in 2016 embroidering found photos. So here in Brazil, I was actually one of the first people who started using embroidery on found photos as a medium. And even in 2019 I didn't know that many people, so it's really interesting to see what people are doing with embroidery in found photos. But it's also really cool to see that in my way my practice is still quite different. So for me I think it was more about understanding that there's space for everyone, and then I can explore and try different things, and that I'll still have my me shape space in the art world. But it encouraged me to try different things and start exploring more in a way. So at first it was mostly text based, my practice. It still is, but now I'm evolving and adding more details, trying new patterns. So I guess for me that was that.
Lovely. What about you, Twiggy?
Yeah, I think it's impacted my work in the sense that it keeps me really inspired to keep going, and in a way, it sort of uh, validates my work, just because same I started using found photos in college, so in 2011, which feels like a long time ago now. And just yeah, just seeing. Like I said, I think I mentioned it's always been difficult to find a place in the art world for me. I wasn't really sure where I belonged, and so seeing that we can create a community that has artists who work with a similar medium just really
Yeah.
validated, that my work is valid, if that makes sense. And it keeps me so
Yes, absolutely.
inspired.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see.
I think, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm done. It's just inspiring.
You know, what I really love about it is so many times I feel like, because we all know art world has a lot of gaps, and how we're all, each of us, find that gap and experience that gap and have taken it upon us to fill that gap. Because I started because I didn't knew where to see myself. I didn't know. I was i was in a desperate need of a community. I needed to speak to people. I needed to feel and live like an artist and have those conversations. And since I didn't have, and if I did, they were not the one that, the kind of people that you want. I was always very entrepreneurial. And so I started Arts to Hearts, and I wanted to have more transparency and build a community that, we can do this. And similarly, like, your struggle with finding yourself in a medium, and then how beautifully you've literally created like a community around that whole situation. That's just so brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
How has been your experience of building a community? Let's talk about that. Let's also talk about social media, the business side of things. How has this um, impacted you? And you know, this is actually a question. Let's also first talk about how does it feel to run like a platform as an artist, as like a business platform as an artist.
uh, so you mean how does it feel to build it, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Uh,
to build it. And um I, for me at least, and I know for you also, because I know what Twiggy does, and we also spoke about what Juliana does at Photo Trouvee. Our own practices is a very different side, and it's very intuitive. And the work that we do, we all have our processes and everything. But when it comes to running a business like a community platform, a magazine, there are things that are needed to be looked at in business. You need to take care of a lot of things. How has that experience been for you and your identity as an artist?
mhm. Yeah, so I think that it is very different. I think it exercises different muscles, to work on the magazine and then
Yes,
to work
yes, yes,
on my own
100%.
work. But I think that for me, the reason why I love it so much is because it's sort of an extension of myself and my work, just, through other people. And so if you are doing something that is just, it's, like I said, it's an extension of what you do and yourself, then I think that the challenges are going to be easier to face, and all the work that you don't necessarily love to do, like admin work, it's
Oh my God, yes,
it's just going to
yes.
make it easier. um
Calendars, emails.
yeah. And I try to think, sometimes I don't feel like it either, like the Instagram thing, it's every day. And but then I think like, oh, this is a form of like me creating in a way. So it's just a grid, but I'm creating a grid. So like, I think Juliana does it too. We don't just pick something to share. We kind of curate it in a way that we usually share about
Mhm.
3, 4 artists a day. And the artists that we choose for that day, that use our hashtag or that tag us, we try our best to sort of curate it in a way that they communicate with each other the works that we share, and it's not just random. And so in a way that's a
Mm-hmm.
form of creating for me as well. And
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
100%. What about you, Juliana?
Yes. For me, I think what taught me the most it was that structure can also mean something good. Because in my practice, I was always against having a structure
Oh my
in a way because I felt that I would feel stuck in a cage. But
Yeah. Oh,
running,
Juliana, let me say, how on point have you got this?
I know. That's so true.
Like
yeah.
how much, like, I remember saying this in one of our episodes, that I'm someone. Oh, this was Celine, and she also said the same thing. I hate structures,
Hmm.
but I also need structure. I mean, I'm someone who loves fluidity, but also needs to have a structure to function
Mm-hmm.
in a manner. Like, it's so paradox, but you need to have that fluidity that you can. I hate when people put me in a box. Like, if they tell me what I need to do, but I also need to know what direction I need to go, and then I need to figure my way out.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So,
you complete
yeah.
your thing.
For me, structure was one of the most important things as well because, I'm not only working for myself, I'm working with Twiggy and with hundreds, thousands of other people that are also relying on us in a way. So, having a structure to work with our social media and on the magazine and doing all the admin stuff as well, it's really important because if we also don't keep track of what we're doing, we cannot really plan where we want to go and how are we getting there. So of course there's the
Yeah.
space for fluidity, but structure is really important on running a business. uh,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Love
especially
that.
also dealing with finances because
Yeah.
Oh
we're
God.
putting
Yes.
so many hours in on backstage of this
Yes.
platform because it's not just creating a magazine, it's not just sharing on social media. There's a lot going on, so we need that.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Okay. Um, where are you guys at a stage where I know it's two of you, so I'm sure it would have been. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm carrying like lots of like bricks on my shoulder, because everything, as someone who's doing this alone, I have everything on me. I have to tell people what needs to be done. You know, there's so much that's dependent just on me. Um, and that also being reason that I needed help way early, to make this possible, and other projects that I've been doing. How has it been for you? What respectively do you have more people? Who manages what? Who's good at what? What is the behind structure of Photo Trouvee?
Yeah, so we don't have more people. It's just us. At least for now.
Okay.
Um, but I think, yeah, I think for you, Sharul, I think it's a good idea to have help, because that would be a lot to do
Yes.
by yourself. So it kind of happens in a way organically, the way our tasks kind of, you know, separated in a way. We do, I would say
Hmm.
probably like 85 to 90% of everything together, not separately.
Wow.
So we meet every Wednesday and Friday on Zoom, to work on whatever we need to work
Now I
on.
know that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And for the magazine, we have a schedule, so it's every other day that we post. So it's not too much on one person, because every day would be quite a lot. And we don't post anything on Sundays, because we,
That social media that you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, the social media, we don't post on Sundays because we feel like that's we should have one day where we don't do it. Um,
disconnect.
yeah, and as far as the tasks, Juliana, she likes organizing folders on Google Drive and all of that. And I despise that.
Let me tell you, can I borrow Juliana for a few days?
I just don't like doing it. And so I will do it if I have to, of course, but she's kind of taken that side on. And I do a
She's the
lot of,
pro at it.
so any editing that needs to be done, like writing emails ahead of
Yes.
time or writing text for, the magazine or whatever it is, like I'll take that on. Um, and I'll do a little bit more, but really it's 50-50. I'll work on Photoshop a lot. So like kind of the design, some of the design aspects, but really
So do you design the magazine together?
yeah, we design the magazine together. We don't do anything apart for that.
Yes.
I share my screen and, I'm on Photoshop and then Juliana's there to see it. And like we take all the
Wow.
decisions
Yes.
together. We try to never, like if someone asks me, oh, do you want to do this or do you want to do that? I always say like, let me talk to Juliana first. And I think that she does the same.
Yes.
Yeah, it's,
Mm-hmm.
You did that, I remember. That's how this also like our conversation for the treasured moments open call with Arts to Hearts. I remembered speaking about it with
With
Juliana
me. Yeah.
first. Yes. And then she told me, let me get back. And then we had the group and then we made this happen.
yeah.
So that's, yeah, I know. That's
Yeah, we
wonderful.
really keep things. I think of Juliana as
Yes.
like an equal. Like we keep things fairly 50-50. Like I said, like little things
Mm-hmm.
like the Google Drive, she'll take that on, and then But overall,
Yes.
yeah,
Organizing files and sending
yeah,
emails and getting all the contracts back. That's with
yeah.
me.
I'll write them,
But
but
it's
she sends
funny because
them.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How has been how have you grown your social media, your community on Instagram, so beautifully and rapidly? Let's talk about that. You have quite a great reach. You've reached over 11,000 followers. How has that been for you?
Okay, I think it's been crazy. Like before, I think probably for a year we would only post once a day or so. And then when we started posting more consistently and curating like a 3 to 4 posts a day, it grew a lot and started growing
Yeah.
really fast. And our hashtag has grew so much as well. Like we have more than 20,000 posts using our hashtag. So that's
Wow.
been something crazy as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and our community is so lovely, and they share a lot and they engage a lot with us and with each other's work. So that's pretty nice. So it grew organically.
Yeah. So if anyone is like
Wow. Wow.
listening and wants advice on that, I would
Yes,
say,
who's people are overwhelmed.
yeah, I would say like,
How to grow an account?
yeah, I would say, well, first of all, you know, you don't want to grow and have people who aren't aligned with what you're doing. That's
Yes,
just not really, that's not
absolutely.
beneficial to anyone because, like a number isn't necessarily going to give you that kind of intimate interaction, or it's not going to give you someone who's going to buy necessarily. But I would say if you have a collaborative platform, then have a hashtag that people can use. Remind people a lot that they can use it, um, and interact with artists and people who we have, like some people who are very very consistent and who are always commenting, always liking,
Yeah,
always sharing. And so find those people and just share a lot of work, I guess. That's helpful too, just to
yes,
have a big wide net
yes.
in that way. But yeah, and consistency,
Lovely.
consistency is key.
Fabulous. Okay. Okay. Before my last question, actually, I one more question. I wanted to touch upon our theme, treasured memories, for this open call, and what what it means to you, and your what are you looking at when when you will be curating the show.
Okay. uh, for me, a treasured moment is a very dear moment that you can always go back to and kind of revive it or revive the feeling that you had during that time. So, thinking about special moments with family or friends or, just loved ones, it's it's what a treasured moment is for me, something really precious that we hold on very dear to our hearts. So for me, what I'll be looking at for the open call is just this emotion, seeing an artwork that brings a lot of emotion and takes us back to your treasured moment. So for me, that's what I'm looking for particularly.
Yeah, I would say
You,
the same.
Twiggy?
I think that we'll be looking to have sort of like an emotional response, whether it applies to us and our lives or not. Just having this feeling and you know, um, yeah, just the emotions that come along and accompany the work that's being submitted. And also, I have to say, we're so excited to um, get to look at works that are going to be a lot of different mediums and how people are going to interpret this theme. That's so exciting to us. And I'm sure you'll
Yes,
mention.
it really is.
I'm sure you'll mention that it's not
Yes,
just
yes,
found photo works in this call, and that's
yes,
really
yes.
exciting. Um,
Yes, and we did this, we spoke about this, and we did this intentionally because I remember our conversation, and I brought up this question that what Twiggy and Juliana wanted to go forward with. And, you said that you wanted to, see how the same theme, you can have the same emotion while with your own community at Photo Trouvee, and then how that can be expanded into another, other mediums. And I think that's what even I'm so excited about. And I also feel like,
Hmm.
especially with the new years, like we're doing this open call in such a great time, like, it's we're always like January, it's always like looking back, and we're always excited for what's coming forward. But we take those moments in our best moments in the new beginnings, because that's what keeps you motivated.
yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
I also want to remind everyone who's listening to this episode, if you want to be a part of this open call, the open call will be live from 10th of January to 7th of February 2022. You can go to www.arts2heartsproject.com/submit, and you can find the links and all the details for submitting to this open call. This open call is again open to all mix, like all medium of artists. You can be a painter, a sculptor, mixed media, and we look forward to what treasured moments means to you, and and actually share those treasured moments with you and live with them. So yes, you can find the link in this description of this episode, on the website, in the promos, everywhere else. And yes, okay, now let's go to the last question.
Okay.
What is coming with Photo Trouvee in 2022? What are you guys thinking? Tell me your big plans. Tell me something that only you are telling for the first time, so that we have some special access information. What are your plans basically? I want to see. I mean, I'm so excited where you guys are going, but I really want to hear what's going on your mind.
Yeah. So, well, the first
Okay.
thing is that we are going to have a book that's coming out. It
Wow.
it's going to be an art book with a collection of 84 international artists who use found photos or inspired by found photos in their works. And so that's very special. for us, and that's
When is it coming?
early February. Normally, it should be coming. It's been a long project, and again, a lot of learning along the way.
Yes.
But
Amazing.
we're
I can't wait to
yeah, we're
see.
so excited about that. And then you can look forward to all our issues being printed from now on.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and some open calls.
We've also discussed about this. So, like, we have something in the pipeline even for a collaboration in print media. We haven't really, closed onto it, but I'm hoping let's figure that out.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, what about anything new, any big project that you're manifesting, any new thing?
We really want to start doing more collaborations this year
Yeah.
too. So may this be the first of many
Yes,
collaborations
many.
with other art platforms. Uh,
Yes, yes,
and other
yes.
people from our community. So there's that. We also plan on doing other two exhibitions throughout the year, and we're, we have our goals, but we're open for the magic to happen as well.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. It's been so, so nice to have you both and to talk about your journeys and Photo Trouvee. Um, Anyone who's interested, where can they find you online? Where can they buy the print issues or the digital issues? And if they're interested, can you mention all the links and spaces so that people can go follow you?
Yeah. So
Of
on
course.
Instagram, we're just at Photo Trouvee magazine. On our website, it's www.phototrouveemagazine.com. We post all our open calls on our website. You can look forward to three magazine open calls this year, and then probably two exhibition calls. Yeah, we on our website you can sign up for our newsletter to be the first to know if we have any open calls coming up, and we also share everything on Instagram. So I think I got it all.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate this. And I am so excited for a collaboration. And I can't wait for us to bring the show to life. And I'm really excited to see your curation. And we will see. I'm going to see you two more. I'm sure. It's going to be even more exciting. We'll have our Instagram live on the 28th of January. So anyone who wants to join us then can join us. And anything else you guys want to add? Yes, I definitely want to add you that you can submit to this open call on www.arts2heartsproject.com. Thank you, you guys. Anything else that you want to say?
um,
Any part last bye words?
no, just thank you so much for having us on the podcast. We're so excited to share, with your community and just to collaborate with you because we love the platform that you've created, and it's inspired
Thank
us as
you.
well. So thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you
Yes.
so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Sharu. You're such an inspiration as well, and I just adore what Arts to Hearts is doing,
Oh,
and I appreciate being here. And I can't wait to review all the lovely submissions that we're going to have for treasured moments.
thank you. See you guys soon.
Bye.
See
Bye.
you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. You can find all the details and links mentioned in the show notes of this episode available on www.arts2heartsproject.com. And if you like this episode, please don't forget to tag us in your stories and leave us a review here on iTunes or any of your favorite platforms. It really helps us to keep the show going. Thank you so much. I'm sending you lots of love and I can't wait to be back here soon again. Bye.